Thanks for joining us here alive at 5. We've got a lot of stories to get through today, and all of you have had plenty to say about them. You can join in, add your comments below. We're also checking out your comments on Facebook. So let's get to it. I'm Cheryl Preheim here with Aisha Howard and Kaitlyn Ross. What got your attention today, Aisha?
I love this story because it is something that I needed to know, and finally U.S. Foods did research that proves 1 in 4 delivery drivers are taking a little bite, getting a little something of the fries when they are en route to bring it to your house.
You knew they were doing it.
I had a feeling, you know, last week my fries were a little bit light.
A little skimpy.
Yeah, now to be honest, I am the queen of all the delivery services, and so I'm like, what's going on here? What do you guys think about that? You think it's despicable, or you agree? You just can't resist?
I have an unpopular opinion. Of course they are. Of course they are. I worked in a chain restaurant, which will not be named, and every time a plate of fries was coming out of the kitchen,
it's the fries.
you were grabbing a fry. They're irresistible.
Know. Yeah, can you imagine driving home with some fries just smelling that good? I know I'm taking my own fries out of the bag when I'm driving, so I just assumed they had to do it.
All right, I have a double standard because when I cook, I'll just eat it off my kids' plates all the time. I know I do that, but that's my kitchen and those are my kids. And if I'm buying food, I don't want to think about
somebody else's hand.
You go from the steering wheel, which is one of the grimiest places ever. Second to your cell phone, you go steering wheel in
bag
my fries. I love it. I don't
when you
love
put it that way, that does make it a little bit of a eek moment. Hey, so a lot of people say they had this same feeling too. So Michael on Facebook, he said, I barely trust the drive-through. As a former delivery driver for Pizza Hut, I know all too well the temptation. And that's what they said. It was a temptation. Couldn't imagine riding around with someone's fries. But hey, we also got a good tip about this. If you want to rectify this concern for your next delivery, Audrey has a really good suggestion. So check this out. I told her I was going to try this too. She says that I was staple my bag, please.
Oh, interesting.
How about that? You can add that to the comments. Almost all of the restaurants I order from follow the instructions.
That's so great. Audrey,
so smart.
Now I'm ordering again. Thank you, Audrey, because without you, I don't know if I would have.
I know, right? So, hey, just admit that you have the temptation, so I would give them a little bit of grace, and if you think it's too nasty, maybe you should
staple the bag.
Staple the bag. But got your attention.
You know, I've been following the conversation all day long about the fact that there are more and more families considering giving up their guardianship or custody of like high school seniors because they can pay less for college. So if you give up guardianship and they live with someone who makes less money and they can prove they're financially independent, then you get more financial aid. More families are looking to this as an option, but there's a lot of back and forth about this. Some saying, I get it because college is ridiculously expensive and people are desperate. Others saying, hey, it's taking money away from kids who really need it. And there really is truth to both of those arguments.
It is, and me not being a parent, I always hear other parents say you will do anything for your child. And I think this is one of those things, to give up guardianship. I know it's not hardcore, you're still going to be involved in your child. It's not like a big court custody battle, but just think about it, man, they really have to even consider that?
Yeah, but that's where I weigh in with you is I have a young child, he's 1.5. Believe me, we already started saving for college. I understand it's a huge expense, but this just seems so unethical to me.
Yeah.
To give up guardianship of your kid, you're really gaming the system. And even though people say they need this assistance, I agree with that, there are other people who need it more below that economic line.
Yeah, the investigation that really looked into this was based in Illinois, although they say it's happening all over the country. 82,000 students did not get any financial aid because it was already gone. It's first come, first serve. So if someone's working the system, if they have the financial means to hire an attorney, to help do the paperwork, to get the kids out of it, you know, they have an advantage, and they're drawing from a pot of students who may not have any support at home, may not have someone who can pay an attorney to get around these fees. And so they are, again, because they have less opportunity.
It makes you think, you know, we've been talking about the college admissions scandal. Well, I guess this is sort of the flip side of it. It's just a different avenue. Some people consider it to be, you know, really unethical and criminal.
So Mary Kirk just fired in. She said the lengths some people will go to beat the system. When did lying and cheating become so socially acceptable? Mary's right, because it is cheating the system. It's not illegal, but is it right? That's the question.
I'm with Mary there.
Yeah,
I'm totally with Mary.
Okay, Sarah just fired in too. I wonder what can be done about the high cost of education at colleges and universities these days. This is the reason people act this way. They do anything to make sure their children will have the benefits that a college education can bring. People are fighting for those opportunities. The problem is people with means can fight for opportunity in ways that people who don't have means cannot.
It really makes you think about the benefits of community college and trade schools, because a lot of people are saying you can have a great life by pursuing those avenues as well for much cheaper.
Much cheaper.
And there's a great need for trade right now. A lot of those industries need to hire people, so that's a great point, Aisha.
Shout out to my student loan payment.
Kaitlyn, what got your attention today?
I love this for back to school. I was out doing a totally different story, and I was interviewing the sheriff in Douglas County when he hit me with some truth about parenting. Take a listen to what he had to say about today's modern parent.
You know, we kind of got away from parenting. Parenting want to be their friends instead of being parents. Look in your kid's room, look in his book bag, check his phone. Just do the thing that a parent done back when we was parents. They got away from the real raising of a child. We got to get back to that. It's very hard to be a good parent. You just got to.
And man, I agree with him.
I feel like you were probably sitting there like, yes, sir, tell me more.
Tell me more. Yeah, it is. It's hard to be a good parent. And he brings up a lot of questions about privacy, I think. Do you check your kid's phone? Do you check in their book bag? How much are you monitoring this?
You're that mom?
I am that mom. Listen, my youngest is 3, my oldest is 11, and I will spy for their benefit.
Right.
You know, for their benefit. Because they're not old enough to make great choices. I would like to help them do that. I need to know what's going on, especially as they get older. You know, I'm going to spy. I know it's not popular, but I may or may not have already done it.
Well, this also makes me think of the old saying, it takes a village to raise a child. And that's what he's saying. You know, everyone was really involved in the child rearing growing up. And I appreciated that. You know, your teacher was going to call, you cut up, she has a good relationship with your mom or the neighbor down the street. If you were cutting up at her house or she sees you. You know, I remember the time I tried to wear that red lipstick to school and my mom found out my aunt was a lunch lady. So she was a part of the village. And so it really takes everyone to sort of be on the little spy game.
It's right. My mom would say, you do it, I'm going to hear about it. Just know that right off the bat.
And that is 100% true. I posted this on my Facebook page and people had thoughts about what the sheriff had to say. Breezy weighed in and he actually said he grew up with Sheriff Pounds as the sheriff in his community.
Oh, really?
And he said there were so many times that this sheriff could have taken us to jail for so many small things. Instead, they pulled us to the side alone or in a group, gave us a good preaching to, and made us pour out our beer and get a ride home. So they were there as that village. They were saying, we're going to watch out for you. We're going to make sure you're doing the right thing. But then we have a little bit of a different view, saying, you know what, parenting has gotten lazy. And that's the point I'm not sure about. This man is 100% right, says Marcia. Each generation of children gets lazier and lazier and continues to live off parents way past the age of 18. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Well, I mean, financial times, you know, things are much more expensive and it takes a lot more to get to that point where you're able to live on your own. You think about the cost of living. So that's the flip side that I would say with that comment. It takes a lot more to get your adulting on these days. I'm still figuring it out.
And I'd say with our 4 kids, we are trying to teach them to have a work ethic. We have chores, they have responsibilities, because it's really up to the experience we give them how lazy or not lazy they'll be.
True.
My parents, like there was a line, and if I didn't live up to it, I had a little fear, you know what? And, and I think that is a conversation now. You know, there are parents that are doing their best. They have 2, they have 3 jobs. They may or not be able to be at home. I think we can be so quick as parents to judge each other, but we don't always know what everyone is going through. And I think there's a lot of parents that are just doing their best, but circumstances can be really difficult.
Good to know I got you guys to have my back when that time comes.
We have lots of information to give you.
Moms with a lot of thoughts here. Hey, we want to hear your thoughts as well. We're going to keep these conversations going all throughout the day. Perspective for fanning the flames. Let us know in the comments. Be sure to also subscribe to our YouTube channel. Drop us a comment below. You see, we're going to share them on the show. Check back tomorrow, same place, same time. We'll be here for a live FI. Thanks for hanging out with us.